Welcome to the 74th weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. Sometimes people call it stalking. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this increasingly strange and also increasingly criticized hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And you somehow, we're in the thick of the holidays, and you still somehow went out there and had another meet and greet this week.
Listen, that's what it means to be a deranged lunatic. Those of us that are crazy, we don't yield for holidays. We have to keep getting combos because combos don't get themselves. But no, in all seriousness, I am a lunatic, but I had a meet and greet in the city this week, and it featured hip-hop luminaries, icons, Slick Rick, and Dougie Fresh. They were at Rough Trade.
Okay, how was that? What were they doing? Signing albums, books? What were they signing?
They were signing albums. It was like sort of a limited edition repressing of their single, Lottie Dottie. It was the, I think it was the 30th, maybe 40th anniversary. I'm blanking on the year. But it was definitely a lengthy anniversary, especially in hip hop, which has for the longest time, hip hop has really had like an expiration date on it that other genres did not have. You didn't really have the like guys pushing 60 that were still able to do this and be taken seriously. But lately that's been different. So it was cool to see these guys getting sort of celebrated a little bit. Have you ever done a signing at Rough Trade?
No. I can't get past the name of the store, but anyway, go ahead.
Listen, Rough Trade, when I went there last year for Common and Pete Rock, I was blown away at how they could afford rent, like right across the street from Radio City. Like, how are you as a record store making enough coin to afford one store? And now they have a second one downstairs. It's called Rough Trade Below. So I don't know. They must do extremely well. Good for them. It's another place in the area that has meet and greets. So this one was downstairs at Rough Trade Below, which was appreciated since the weather was not too great that night, and standing on a street corner waiting to get let in would have really sucked.
So all in all, a good experience.
Yeah, good experience. No extras, which last time I was there, Common hit like 9 extras, which I've cried about on here numerous times.
So they didn't hit extras, or you didn't bring any?
I didn't bring any. I tried to buy some at Rough Trade's upstairs location. They had none. And I said, screw it, whatever. Obviously, at that point, what was I going to do? And luckily, they were strict, no extras. Maybe they got some later down the line, but like they were making it sound like it would be a no. Maybe some people did, I'm not sure. But they were pushing hard for no extras, which made me feel better. Photo op turned out great. I bought my buddy's vinyl, which I'm giving to my father-in-law for Christmas because he's crazy about Slick Rick. So I have 2, and I'm gifting one, keeping one, and it's actually a little frustrating because I mean these were selling on eBay for $250.
I know. I enjoy when you texted me that. I really thought that was funny. When you're like, "What do I do? Do I give it to my father-in-law for Christmas, which he would love?" Or do I sell it? And I mean, I think you can go ahead and reveal my recommendation.
Well, for the record, I was just lamenting to you. I had already told my wife we were giving it to him. It was too perfect of a gift. I wasn't considering selling it. I was maybe considering selling my own. I would have sold my own before I would have sold his. But your answer was, I think your answer was sell them both.
Of course it was. The answer is sell them both. Yesterday you didn't have them. Come on, it's a no-brainer.
Yes, but one day I'm going to have a nice little wall set up of hip-hop, and this is going to be a hell of a vinyl.
I'm willing to bet a limb that never happens, actually. You know, it's funny. I've talked about my friend Brett. He's going to kill me, but I've talked about how he has this basement that he's been, supposedly setting up for, for the better part of a decade now as a display for all this video game collection and various things. And literally, I remember having the conversation with him before his son was born. that about the joke that his son was going to get down there one day and destroy everything, and he's going to have this perfect setup, and it's going to get destroyed. His son is like rounding the corner on 10 years old, and nothing is set up. So that I just don't think I think when you have these grandiose plans, but you keep acquiring stuff without ever any vision for how it's going to be organized. Like, okay, you're talking about having a hip hop wall, right? But you're also going to have a horror wall and a mask wall and this wall and that wall. And how many walls does a room have? It has 4 walls.
Well, here's the reality. You're correct. But the reality is my wife actually finds all the hip hop stuff really cool. So I think this is probably out of all those walls you're mentioning, this is the wall that I will have no resistance. I can get at least 6 feet in the den where I hang a bunch of vinyls of hip hop. I think that will happen. I agree. She, by the way, my wife thinks the Reagan doll that was quite the hit in the punching bag from last week, she thinks it's hideous and frightening. So that will probably never grace any sort of a display in the general population of the house. But I think the hip hop vinyls, I think she would actually be in favor of them going up. Reagan, never happening.
I don't know, man. I don't see it. In any case, you were also out. It's funny. I also did not this year participate once again in the Black Friday book hunt at Barnes and Noble. I saw that what they had advertised was on the table. Didn't look that hot, but you went out anyway. Did you get anything?
I did. I probably shouldn't have. What was advertised? See, typically they drop a little like flyer graphic type of image that'll show like, I don't know, 20% of what they have. And there's been a lot of big hitters off that graphic that are left off that graphic that end up being in the store. So the graphic in and of itself doesn't really mean much. But by the time I woke up bright and early on Black Friday morning, ready to hit the bookstores, there was a link from barnesandnoble.com, which advertised what they were claiming were all the titles, and they would be on in a limited time online at a certain hour of the day. That was pretty underwhelming, and I probably should have trusted and believed that list would be accurate. But I ventured out. My local Barnes & Noble is like 2.5 miles away. It's not a big deal to go. So I went, and truth be told, I'm a little bit of a junkie when it comes to like that adrenaline that you get. It's the same rush I felt as a 5-year-old walking through Toys R Us, seeing like Hasbro's on the shelf, wondering if I was going to find the Hasbro's I needed. But, so at this stage of my life, I still get off sort of on that rush. So I enjoy the rush. That's largely, I think, why I went. And there was nothing there was nothing exceptional there. I got my wife a signed Wicked book, which was pretty hot and hard to get last year. This year, not so much. She already broke she broke the plastic already. She's going to be reading it. It is not going to be a collectible in any stretch of the word. So that's whatever. I bought myself a second McConaughey book I had the first one from when we met him, but I wanted the second one because I'm actually a huge McConaughey fan, and I figured $29, why not?
You really like his poetry?
I'll probably never read it, but I will sit it there just in case. One day I want to read poetry from Mr. Failure to Launch. And my mom, of all people, wanted the Annie Lennox book, which she might return. I don't know. She wanted it, so I grabbed that for her. I don't know why, but
is there some value in the Annie Lennox book or no?
Right now, as I was in the store, one had sold a couple of weeks earlier for like $1.75. But the book retails at $65, and I haven't checked, but I already can imagine that, 110, 105, 100, 85, and the people just keep cutting each other's legs out to make $7 profit. And it's at 65 MSRP, it's a very, very tough nut to sort of overcome. So if she ends up not wanting it, I'll probably just return it on her behalf. I don't think I will buy her out on it because I don't. From what I hear, the autographs are really nice. Like, she gives nice, big, full signatures. But I don't know. 65 is definitely not great. I was hoping there'd be more Arnolds. The last 2 years, I found more Arnolds. I have like something like 7 just sitting on my shelf now, waiting to either repurpose or to sell when he dies or something. But I mean, people were selling them at $70 last year. Now they're up to 100. No one should be selling Arnolds that low. So I mean, I don't need the money back. I'm in no rush to sell them. So I guess my Arnold stack will probably stop where it's at, because I don't think next year we're going to see any, if they didn't have any this year.
Yeah, I think they're gone. That's the reality.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Which is good, because now the value can start climbing. They kept releasing more, which just kept pummeling the market. So now, as people chop them up for framed pieces and all this other stuff, maybe the value can finally rise. You know, this is a nice Arnold graph in a nice like actual hardcover book. Because I bought one a while ago that was like some stupid kids workout book. Like, that's junk. But like something like this, actually, I think can have some real value.
For sure. So we got a pretty decent number of reports this week. Obviously, the big story is Greg 2600 on the group. Anyway, he had two outings. The one outing he had was a celebrity outing where he got the VIP Broadway thing from Maureen McCormick, but then he also hit the city and got John Grisham, Annie Lennox, Randy Travis. He got an op with Vince Gilligan, which I was definitely impressed with and jealous of, and Sean Lennon. But that wasn't really the one that set the world on fire. The one that set the world on fire was his report where he just stalked the AEW hotel. Now, what's so interesting about it was to be honest, a very kind of mundane report when it comes to, wrestling hotel kind of stuff. We both seen many reports on Marked Out and elsewhere of people going to the hotel where all the wrestlers stay. Wrestling hotels are easy because most of the talent stay in the same spot. And for some reason, this one kind of went nuts.
Yeah, there's such it's that whole culture that we're in nowadays, where everyone's voice matters, and we have to sort of scream it from the rooftops. And CM Punk and a couple other wrestlers are vocal about like not liking to be bothered in their personal time, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I've never begrudged any celebrity. Actually, I have absolutely begrudged celebrities.
For being,
yeah, I have. One day I'll tell the story of John Goodman, where I like chased him through Times Square trying to break him down. But in any case, I intellectually I never begrudge, even if I'll curse them out under my breath and be all pissed about it. I get it, and I'm not owed anything, and whatever. I understand. But nowadays, people just want to complain and make stinks, and this is weird. And it's like, everything, as we say every single week, everything we do in this hobby is weird. Me, last year, going for Black Friday books and fighting with the guy over the books and having this fat guy fall down in the middle of the store as his ass is hanging out because his pants dropped, like in the middle of Barnes & Noble, is not normal. That is not normal. I am a freak for even being involved in that in a slight bit. I am a freak for paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to stand next to people for 5 seconds each. We all kind of are. I get that there's varying shades. Maybe that's, maybe going to airports and hotels is a little creepier. I don't know. Probably a little bit. But people just want to hear themselves be outraged. And that's what happened with this. We had comment after comment after comment basically saying the exact same thing. And I lost track of how many people I banned.
I mean, it was close to, I deleted and banned or warned, depending on the severity of the comment, easily 50 or 60 people myself. So I don't know what you were at numbers wise, but it was a lot of people. And I'm going to be honest, there were some people who should know better. There was a weird mix of people. So to be honest, the largest number of people were just total strangers. They were people who, because it's a public group, it comes across their feed and they will respond. And usually it's just something that they think is witty and smart and funny, and it's just dumb and annoying, just trollish kind of stuff. lording their superiority over someone else in a very social media oriented kind of way. And what's very funny about these people is when you look at their profile pictures, they are uniformly like ugly and weird themselves, and so it's one of those things like, oh, okay, sure, I guess this is the one area of one corner of the universe where you have a little bit of moral superiority, I suppose. But and then the problem is then you have that's one segment of the population. Then you have your regular con attendees, and this is where it gets really weird. The regular con attendees, they get all self-righteous about the fact that they they do it the right way. They pay the wrestlers as opposed to trying getting something for free, and that's their angle for moral superiority, which is always like funny to me because again, I've been I've probably been at more conventions than 98% of the population, and being a con regular is nothing to brag about. Believe me, I try and keep this fact a secret. It is not something to lord over other people. The fact that I know the ins and outs of cons so well does not make me superior in any way to anyone, just to be clear. But then you have your third subset of people, and like where a couple of vendors chimed in. There was the guy, I forget his name, the guy from Damage 365. We see them all the time at these cons, trying to
Kevin
make
Nasta. You're talking
trying
about
to
Nasta.
trying to make the claim that, again, there's some kind of moral superiority, right? So it's more normal for Nasta to lose $2,000 in a weekend to sit next to some no-name girl. That's normal behavior, but trying to meet a wrestler in a hotel is abnormal. Why can't we just say, no, they're both abnormal behavior, right? And try our best to not, feign superiority over someone else. Like, give me a break. You know what I mean? I find that kind of like general attitude repulsive. You're not better than anyone. You're not normal. Stop trying to pretend. You're not making money. You're not some kind of professional. You're not in the business. You're a loser in the same way that dude stalking the hotel, if you think is a loser, whatever. That's my opinion. I'm pretty adamant about it.
Yeah, again, it's all to me that it's a 2025 world that we live in where everyone's got to say something. Everyone wants to feel cooler. Everyone wants to feel better, as if waiting. And I'm not passing any judgments really, but I mean, the people that waited in line to meet, let's say, AJ Lee for 3 hours, that's, as you said, that's not normal. If you tell people outside of this hobby, I waited 3 hours to pay $200 to meet this person for a minute and a half, if I'm lucky, that's crazy. But I guess ultimately you're not invading their privacy. I understand the rhetoric, but I mean, it's one of those things. Talent are grown-ups. They are able to say no. People like CM Punk that really don't want to do it, they don't. Guess what? They don't do it. They send out a couple tweets every so often to complain about it, but life goes on. They say no, they don't do it, and they still make millions of dollars doing what they're doing. All is fine. The talent that choose to do it. And I don't get the outrage. If you don't, I completely get not choosing to do it. Believe me. I feel as though, like you and I, if we were stalking a wrestling hotel in, let's say, 5 years, and like Jackson and Brad and them came down to go to the show, and we're standing in there with piles of shit, like I would feel kind of stupid and awkward to do that when people might recognize us. But like right now, no one there is recognizing us. I just don't choose to do it because I don't really need anyone. I have everyone. I don't care to get, extra autographs of like Charles Robinson, so I don't go. But like it's not because I'm better than someone that does. I just don't choose to do it. I don't know why it can't just be that. Why can't it just be I don't choose to do it?
Right. We did the hotel at Nassau Coliseum a bunch of times, right? We got some people. It was fun. I remember we got Goldust. We got
I wouldn't have Stone Cold.
Piper.
I would not have him.
At Goldust, we got a couple good names there actually. Bill DeMott. Like, that was a great time. I actually had fun. We were goofing around, laughing. Kofi Kingston came out, was goofing with us. It was in a fun way. Like, I think that people have this sort of weird belief that this is like a serious endeavor as opposed to a lighthearted one. And I
Yeah.
guess, obviously, like anything else, like any endeavor, there are people who take it too seriously. There are people who take it too far. There are people who are a problem. But that's any endeavor. That's any endeavor. Anything.
Yeah.
And so I hate self righteousness, and I don't understand why we have become, and in this hobby you would think, because it's so goofy and unserious, people wouldn't be self righteous, but here we are. We're filled with self important idiots about it. Look at all the people about the AJ Lee thing from last week, right? Did you see the dude he's posting on every group? He posted on our group too about like he wants to cancel. Did you see? He wants to cancel Monty and the whatever that idiot that podcast because
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh, whatever. Monty and the Python. That's funny. Monty and the Pharaoh. They wanted to cancel. He wanted to cancel them because they, I guess, reposted the AJ Lee video, and like he was very serious about this. And like to me, it's so stupid and so funny. Like I can't take it seriously. It's not a serious thing. It's a goof. This is all a goof. It's come on, scribbles on a piece of paper, for Christ's sake. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's supposed to be something you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, what are you torturing yourself with? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, all these self-righteous idiots who post on the group, if you troll the group, we'll ban you. If you're a long-time member and you act self-righteous, we'll just make fun of you. And I have no problem making fun of people like that. Because you just gotta not take yourself so seriously. Give me a break. Come on.
And let's not act like this was Greg stalking, like, airports at 5 a.m. for people coming, that you had like Kenny Omega and his family coming back from a vacation. Like, this is a TV hotel, like the weekend of a pay-per-view. TV hotels are blown up. You have ring rats there. You got people like Greg. You got all sorts of just characters roaming around. This is hardly no professional wrestler expects privacy in the lobby of a TV hotel. I'm sorry. This is not the back patio of the White House. This is a TV hotel where there's all sorts of crap going around. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. End of story. Like you said, all the self-righteousness is ridiculous.
Yeah, give me a break. Just that's it. So, and what's funny is, there are other stories now this week related to this. So we saw, you sent me this before, that I guess Tom Felton, who's Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter, he's been on Broadway as part of this Harry Potter kind of show. And, he had been coming out and taking care of fans every night after the show. And apparently they put the kibosh on that because a deranged fan at Broadway. And this is not a stalker per se. This is not like I shouldn't say it's a stalker. This is not a grapher. This is a deranged fan, I guess, got handsy and they shut it down.
Yeah. This report comes from Eli. He has like a YouTube account. He does a lot of graphing. I think he's a dealer and he's a collector. And I just want to give credit where credit is due. And yeah, apparently it was a fan that got too handsy and like grabbed him. And now Tom has shut it down. I think he's playbill only. They check ticket stubs. I'm not sure if he's still doing selfies, but it's funny. That's sort of the world we're in. But I guess that's not really treated as harshly as Greg in a TV hotel doing nothing wrong, because I guess you're allowed to wait there, and it's not that creepy. I guess by the I didn't hear that much self-righteousness about that.
This is where it gets funny. Is stage dooring? There was some fans I noticed, by the way, not to go back to Greg's thing. There was some guy, he posted something like, it's one thing if you wait outside the arena, that's okay, but waiting at the hotel isn't. And I'm like, what? It's the same thing. In fact, like when you Nassau Coliseum, the hotel was next door to the arena. You could walk; it's right in the same parking lot. It was the same thing. A lot of these places are like that, where it's a convention center or an event center hotel. A lot of people, they speak on this stuff and they just don't know anything about it. They want to opine with no knowledge, which is infuriating.
Yeah. To answer your question, and one day I want to go deeper into stage dooring on here. But I think if you were really going to go by, like, if you were going to put on your best self-righteous goggles and try to like visualize how it should be, I think stage dooring, if you came out of the show, would be sort of acceptable, and the people that just show up like I used to, no ticket, and just stand there. I guess that would be probably. I guess I don't know what. It's almost like trying to make sense of Class's like language of his like words. I guess that would be stalking, but probably not as stalkery as an airport or a hotel because it's public knowledge, and I don't know. If it sounds like it's hard for me to make sense of it, that's because it is. Because ultimately, it's just as insane as what Greg did. It's just as insane in a different way as what everyone did at a convention, myself included. It's all insane. So I don't get it. And then you have people that are just extra insane that'll go grabbing and trying to whatever to poor Tom Felton. And then I guess ruining it for everybody. Probably ruining it for everyone except Tom Felton. I bet Tom Felton probably is thrilled with something like anyone in this position. Because this gives them the out and the excuse to sort of stop being bothered on a nightly basis. And have, they have the moral high ground of like their guard can tell the people how, fans got whatever. And it makes them look like victims when they're really just getting out of an extra 15 minutes of freezing outside dealing with the fans.
It gets you a little social cachet.
Yeah.
So there's also, let's see what else. Vinny went out and he did a very slick move. He hit up Courtney Cox at her she's filming something. She's a new project. He hit up the set. He was able to get a couple of autographs, a perfect photo op with Courtney Cox. And of course, someone in the comments asked, well, where was this? And he will not answer. And good on you, Vinny. And that's an interesting cultural thing for the hobby as well. If you find a good spot like that, you don't reveal it.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. It shows Vinny gets it. Vinny would have fit in the old school marked out. He definitely could hang back in the day. But yeah, Courtney Cox, Greg made the comment, Greg 2600. The gimmick must be respected. Actually, hold on. All those people that were bashing poor Greg, they didn't respect the gimmick at all. The gimmick was
not a single one, completely.
No, they don't even know who they were talking to. Anyway, Courtney Cox is truly the only nice friend. She's the one that if you see her, she's gettable. She's also the one that would make a boatload of cash if she did conventions. Absolute insane. She would be a headliner. There would be no headliner above her. She would be on. She could go on a crazy run, but I doubt she ever will because she has all the syndication money and she's good. But when you catch her out and about, I did maybe 15 years ago. She was nice then. She's still nice now under the right circumstances. Good job for Vinny. And also, I saw Brett Pasternak posted in the other threads. Actually, did you? No, you didn't. So I'll throw that in now. Pasternak also got her, and he added her to her.
Was that on our? That might have been on a different group. Was that on our group?
No, it was. He put it up for Wicked Ink, I believe.
That's why. Okay, I didn't see. Yeah,
it
wasn't a report though.
No,
okay, that's why I didn't say it.
But yeah, I mean, both of them really cleaned up. So great job, guys. Great job, Courtney Cox being nice.
Yeah. There's also what's his face? Marcus Brandon went to WrestleCade. There's all these wrestle things. He got a couple people. I forget now. I didn't write down who he got. He got a bunch of people. But the story about WrestleCade that was really interesting / amusing. I want to know what you think about it. Apparently, because now it's all over. It's all over. It's super viral. That Jimmy Hart's megaphone was lost or stolen. We're not really sure which at WrestleCade. They seem to be intimating that it's stolen or making an accusation that it's stolen. What's your take on all of this?
It's a perfect story to go viral because I don't think anyone's had a bad word to say about Jimmy Hart. So I understand why there's outrage. But I mean, first of all, I always roll my eyes when you have people, usually it's like regular civilians in like neighborhood groups that'll be like, ooh, I have the footage, but I'm giving you a chance to just give it back before I send this all to the police. And to me, it's it's like a Home Alone level bluff where, you have the VHS tape playing all the Uzi firing. I personally don't think they have a single frame of anything. I don't know if it was stolen. I don't know if Jimmy Hart misplaced it. I don't know what to make of it, but I don't think they honestly have a smoking gun. If you had if you have a high definition screenshot of someone walking off with this megaphone, why not just post the high definition screenshot of the megaphone and say, who knows who this person is?
Well, you know the golden rule of these things, right? As soon as someone says, I have a video I'm about to release, or I have a surveillance that I'm about to release, you never say that. You just release it. If you say that, that means you don't have it. That's exactly. Like you're teasing. So it's asinine.
And I didn't want to really go public with that because, listen, I love Jimmy Hart. And if it was stolen, I feel, I'm sure Jimmy Hart's got 40 of them. Let's not be silly here. I don't think this is any sort of an artifact. I'm sure he just has, a plethora of them. But still, I mean, no one, same way I lost the meta glasses, were they lost, were they stolen? I don't know. End of the day, I didn't have them. They were gone. And it cost me a couple $100 to replace them. That's what happened. So if Jimmy Hart is without his megaphone and it doesn't come back, I feel bad because he's one of the nicest guys in the business. And, there's a lot of not so nice people in the business that you could at least chuckle at them having some misfortune, as mean as that sounds. Jimmy Hart is not the guy that I would want to see anything happen to. But yeah, I'm glad we're in agreement that I don't think they got a damn thing. And if that threat makes someone come forward and he gets his megaphone back, awesome. But I don't think they have it. I don't think they have anything.
And so that stuff like that is so dopey and carny, and it's like just be honest. And also, I'm not convinced that it was stolen. At these kinds of things, I think the stuff gets misplaced, moved around. Someone thinks they're doing you a favor and they put something to the side. It gets stuck in a box somewhere. I know people are convinced that it was stolen, but I know how things work in this environment. And someone walking out with this giant thing would be spotted. It's giant. It's huge. So it's very funny overall. I think it's just a funny, and again, people's reaction to it is so dramatic. Like, all right, it sucks that an 81-year-old man has an item stolen. It sucks. It's not nice. Yeah, I get it. But I mean, people so dramatically, outraged by this. It's like,
listen, Jimmy Hart might read one of those comments. He might ask around. He might get their phone number. He might call them and be like, I saw your comment. Thank you for having my back. And it'll all be worthwhile. That's the way a lot of these people operate. That it's like, they just want the white knighting. They need to be heard. That's really what it comes down to. And I agree with you. It's ridiculous. Jimmy Hart probably went to 57 different tables to visit the different talent. God knows if he would have placed it down somewhere, walked away, left it with another vendor who didn't see, who the hell knows? I don't know for sure, like you said, if a fan outright just grabbed it and walked out with it. But I mean, what are you going to do? Hopefully he gets it back.
Yeah, I do. I hope. But I'm not optimistic about these things. I love that high def. I love that when they say high definition. Get out of here. Like, come on. It's 2025. High definition. High definition's from 2005. That's expression. If anyone is swayed by that, oh no, they have high definition surveillance. Come on, seriously. But I digress. It's just so silly as a threat. I do hope that they find it. I really do. What else? Sean and Finn once again doing their VIP WWE on location stuff for Survivor Series War Games. They got just about everything that you could get. That was phenomenal. Day one, they got John Cena in costume, in full regalia. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Chris Van Vliet. Then on day two, Rey Fenix, Chelsea Green, Maxine Dupree, Nia Jax, Michin. Yeah. What can I say about these things? They had great seats. I was looking at them. I was kind of looking at the people next to them a little bit because they were a little bit more interesting to look at. But I was looking at them on camera the whole night. They seemed to have a great time at the show, and good for them.
Yeah, I was super jealous of suited Cena. I really was hoping he was going to be suited at Philly Fan Expo, but he wasn't. He's saving these, I guess, for these WWE events. And I'm sure since this is his last time, he's never going to don the suit and the jorts and everything for any follow-up appearances after this. So I guess I will never have a truly suited Cena op, which, I mean, I think life will go on for me. But it's sick, and that is really cool. His last PLE, they got him at in that gear. That's very cool. Well worth the that increased price for Cena that we discussed last week.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a flawless, amazing shot. It's tremendous. Super jealous. It's awesome. I love it. Kudos to them. And then the last report we have is Zach Chiara. He hit DMC in bookends. He's been hitting bookends. I've really been. I'm not gonna lie. I've been not keeping up with bookends very well. They've had some pretty good stuff there in the past couple weeks, and it's like boom, boom, boom. It looks like DMC took care of everyone real well.
Yeah, I love DMC. He, from what Zach and other people said, he was doing extras. He's great. He really is. I luckily got all my extras taken care of in my hometown, so I wasn't actually. Who am I kidding? I was absolutely tempted because I could always get more, but I didn't go. I'm very jealous. Bookends is in New Jersey. We on Long Island. We never had a bookends. We had book review in Huntington that would once in a blue moon would get you somebody that would make you think for a split second that it was comparable to bookends, but it wasn't. It never was. And what we have now is nothing. They booked Situation from Jersey Shore, and that was it. So we don't have anything like that. If I was within, no tolls and like 40 minutes of that store, I'd probably be there damn near every one because they're so smooth, so easy. Zach is always racking over there. Well done.
Yeah, you can't argue with it. There was another story this week that was pretty funny. It was Jason Blaustein strikes again. He had booked someone by the name of Selena De La Renta. Not going to lie, I have no idea who that is. Gun to my head, I am toast if I am asked to identify who she is.
I think she was an MLW. I think that was basically the peak. Maybe TNA at one point. That was like the peak of what she did.
But there was some kind of deal she had with him. And the problem is this. Most of these people are, even when they're trying to make some kind of public statement, they're barely literate. And so like she was posting these texts that she had with Jason. They were very hard to follow. The gist of it was he didn't pay her for her appearance. And his argument was that she didn't fulfill the exact terms of the appearance, so she didn't do the hours. I don't know how you can sit there and do a whole signing and not get paid. I mean, you just don't do it. Like, hey, give me my money. Like, this is what I don't quite understand any of that. But he didn't pay her, and then she complained publicly, and then he did pay her, and that was the end of it. So, I mean, this is not the first time that Jason's been accused of these kinds of things, but also it's without fail. Without fail, there's always more to the story, and there are certain things about, and I am very rigid. Maybe I don't come across that way. Maybe I do. I don't know, but I'm very rigid in my expectations of how like people treat me and how I treat other people. And so like when someone is, for example, chronically late, or when someone it causes major inconveniences to a booking and they conduct themselves in an unprofessional way, I kind of like. I would never do that. And so it sort of boggles the mind that these people habitually behave in this way. So like her excuse for being late was I was running late, as if that's an excuse for anything. But then again, Jason then uses that, right? He uses the fact that these people kind of operate a little bit on the margins of normal human behavior. And then so he uses that as an excuse, like not pay her or whatever. I don't know. The whole thing is absurd.
And let's also just keep in mind, this was part of an event he had in Orlando, Florida. He had at least 15 people booked for this show. Now, do I follow 3% of the people he had booked for this show? Probably not. I don't think I do. It's all of those random like bimbos of the world that I don't follow. But I did not hear anyone else complain about not being paid. So I'm saying you're talking about a 98% pay rate. And also, to be completely clear, and I don't want to victim shame, but if you do even the slightest bit of homework, you know this guy has been accused of this type of thing before. So if you are going
to... Stop. For decades. not for years, for decades. He was accused of not paying people at Turnbuckle in 2007. It's 2025. What the hell?
So if you're taking this booking, let's say, times are tough, you're not going to turn down a booking. You got to not touch a pen until you get paid. You can't just sit down, work the whole shift, and hope for the best. At a certain point, the person climbing into the gorilla tank at the zoo and getting mauled by the gorilla, I don't feel bad for you because you are a moron. And that's what this comes down to. Decades of history. If you're taking that booking, you got to protect yourself and make sure you're getting paid.
Yeah, it's just very hard for me to take these people seriously. You Google him. I mean, you can't avoid it. His reputation precedes him. It's so silly that they always act like complete babes in the woods. I had good dealings with him before. Yeah, that's how those people work, right? They lull you in with a false sense of security by pretending to be decent in the beginning. Everyone does that. And every person who's a con artist, that's how the con artists work. Is they trick you by being nice to you in the beginning. God, like, it's unbelievable. I thought wrestlers were supposed to be the con artists. They were supposed to be slick, and they're morons. I don't know. I sometimes I wonder what's going on. In any case,
but again, let's just be. I just want to be completely fair and clear here. She was the only talent from that entire lineup that I heard making any sort of a ruckus about not getting paid.
She was.
So perhaps.
That's true.
So I guess, reputation aside, it sounds like he made right by all the other people on first attempt, and she was made right after she made some noise. So I mean, I guess a well played event for Blaustein because there wasn't much heat about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know. And of course, when a young woman, especially a wrestler of, whatever wrestler, we'll call her a wrestler, she posts a sob story online, and you have all these guys, one mutant after the next, coming to her defense in just the most embarrassing way. And it's like, oh God help me, I have to read these things.
I wonder how many of them made fun of Blaustein's appearance when they don't look too much different from Blaustein.
Right. That's the rub, right? They all kind of look the same. And they all complain about it. And I'm not defending Blaustein at all. But the point is that there are these people who carry on like she's some kind of serious victim. And it's like, just stop. Come on. Wrestlers, she's a carny. She showed up late to an appearance. She knew she was late. She's pretending that if you show up late to an appearance, that then staying late means the same thing. We all know it doesn't, because the hours are worth different amounts at the con. It's just so annoying that everyone pretends like they don't know the things they know. It's infuriating. But
what, you mean I can't show up late to school in the morning and then just sit in an empty classroom at 4:30 and have it count the same?
I just love this, though. What is she sitting around doing and she can't make a booking on time? It's just not that difficult. Get in the car and go. Plan your trip in advance. This is not hard. But these people are just, they're not capable of like basic like life skills. I digress now. And I know this is me now ranting because we've had similar experiences. I mean, the infamous one was at WrestleBash that time, where a certain talent showed up 3 hours late. So 2 hours late, 3 hours late. It was very late, and then genuinely expected things to just carry on as if they had showed up on time, right? And you're like, huh? But
well, look on the bright side. You did get a photo with the Boca Raton Women's Championship belt out of the whole deal.
I did. That was funny. Another funny story that went a little viral. You posted it, and I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't post it. Someone else shared it, and their name is escaping me right now, but someone else shared it.
Oh, so I mean, what exactly? Because I in the interest of full disclosure, I did not watch the video with sound. Because when I was watching it, I was in a place where I couldn't play my sound, and so I didn't have sound. So what happened with this Geo video, GTV?
Geo was following around a musician from a band. I don't know many bands, as we know whenever Martine sends in a report with like big name bands, and I'm clueless. So I don't know the band's name. I don't know if that's indicative of them not being a big name or indicative of me having tunnel vision for old rappers and whatever else I like. In any case, the musician was refusing to sign. Gio, I don't know if he tried to break him down, but it was kind of, I guess, in a little bit of a hostile way. It wasn't like begging and pleading. It was more of a who do you think you are kind of tone. And he kept saying, no, 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 I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Leave me alone. Gio kept following him and sort of complaining about how you're nobody. I don't know who you think you are acting like this. This is what you sign up for in fame, that you have people asking you for your autograph. Then he kind of went to he played the race card, which a lot of people were very upset about that.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. If you've never watched the Gio GTV video, I think Gio is absolutely hilarious. I think he's almost like a comedic genius in a way, because he knows exactly the right timing and exactly the right things to say to like fluster people. One of my favorite ones he did was he was breaking down Mariska Hargitay to get her to sign stuff for him, and she goes, "Aren't you just gonna sell this stuff and make some money?" And he goes, "Yeah, Mariska, but I could be selling drugs instead." And she goes, "Fair point." And she signed all his stuff. He's so funny. I find him so funny. I don't know why, but yeah, so he does this thing where he like sometimes if someone denies him, he'll say "stay black" to them, which I also find hilarious. He's a very, very funny, clever guy. So what did he say to how did he play the race card now for this one?
Like, oh, you're not going to sign for me? It's because I'm black. And then it kind of made more sense when they said something about the guy's like, no, I only sign for people that go to shows and buy tickets. So then he's like, what makes you think I don't go to a show and buy a ticket? Is it because I'm black? And honestly, that's a pretty damn good argument, because I mean, I bet you there's not a lot of black men at this, like, whatever this was. It looked like a punk, poppy kind of emo, judging by how the members looked. There probably aren't a lot of guys there that look like Gio. So it's not the worst thing to say. And I know some people, I don't want to get political, but there's some people that just want to burn anything down with any race card mention. They hate anything like that and whatever. I don't begrudge anyone's opinions, but this is not all about factuality, guys. When you're in the wild doing this type of thing, if you're like Gio, if you're someone that's going to push the envelope and try to break someone down, you're trying to it's like Battleship. You don't feel that strongly about, E7. You're just shooting your shot, hoping it connects. And that's what he was doing. It was a half-court shot, a heave. And I guess I'm sure it works more often. What?
The analogy is very funny. I find it very funny. I find the whole Gio thing very funny.
And then the video got better when he finds the one member of the band that actually signed, and he's like, "You're good." He's like, "The rest of them are assholes." and the guy that's good starts like yelling at Gio. He's like, "I don't care, leave us alone." And the whole thing was wild. It really was. And of course, again, much like with Greg, it's all, how dare you bother these people? It's Thanksgiving. Why are you harassing this person? Like, that's the game. That is the game. These guys said no. They were free to say no. Now they have a legion of people white knighting for them in the comments of Gio's video that will never buy an album or listen to a song. But I mean, they are passionately defending them right now. And that's it. Life goes on. It's not that traumatic. It's okay. Gio does what he does. People say yes or no, depending on what they want to do. Life goes on. That it's not really a bad thing, but everyone likes to be outraged. And speaking of Gio, have you been following? Are you aware that Radio Man is now on Instagram?
No,
Radio Man, and they I'm not sure who the hell follows him around, but like you sort of see behind the scenes a little bit of radio and how like celebrities will come down. Like there's a video, John Goodman like comes down from the hotel room to like pick up the stack of photos to sign for Radio Man. And they're like BSing, and yeah, like it's fascinating to see like the level of, especially for people that don't work the NYC scene or never have and never really saw this guy operate. You want to complain and cry foul about these people stalking celebrities. This guy stalks celebrities, and celebrities like absolutely love him. They Scorsese and other directors put him in movies. Granted, he's a little bit of a rare special case. But still, John Goodman, who's not a nice guy, typically, came all the way down from his room just to get this guy's stack of stuff to sell, and he signed it for him. Brought it up to the room, and I guess brought it back later. So Radio Man is on Instagram. If you're a fan of GTV and you're just fascinated by it all, check out Radio Man.
The New York City graphic scene is really this sort of ecosystem of fascinating human beings. Geo's no longer in the New York City scene, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's kayfabe, but yeah, I think I've heard he's down in Miami. I'm not sure how true that is. Truth be told, I've never really known Geo super well. I've seen him at spots. We followed each other for like a decade. And that's about the extent, likes back and forth is the extent of my relationship with Geo. But yeah, I think he's in Miami. I don't even know where the hell Radio Man lives. Plus, Radio Man's like 90 years old at this point. So I mean, I'm not sure how many more seasons he's got in him. But yeah, the NYC scene, there's always someone new. You have Cameron. When one falls, another supervillain rises. That's sort of how it goes.
It does. Other con-related and industry-related news, Mick Foley posted, I thought it was a funny thing. Some of our members took it seriously, but I guess he's doing Cajun Con, I guess, whatever, some other con. There's cons everywhere, for crying out loud. He's, as like a favor to fans due to the tough times, he's no longer upcharging on premium items. I think he's doing like his prices are 60, 80 on all items. He was upcharging on belts and figures at one point. You sent me this. I thought it was funny. Why is this funny to you? I know why it's funny to me.
It's funny to me because Mick Foley, and I want to be very clear here. I want to be fair. Mick Foley has a perception of being this super, super warm, fan-friendly guy who truly loves his fans. And I'll be completely honest, I've been behind closed doors with him. I've been in public with him. I've had some really, I remember when I was 13 years old, I saw Mick Foley coming out of Stop and Shop, which is a supermarket up in the Northeast. He had arms filled with a giant bag of charcoal. And I ran out of my car with my mom, and I told him it was my birthday, and he pulled a book out of his trunk and he signed it to me. And honestly, as a child, that was one of my absolute favorite memories. Still to this day, I've thanked him since for that moment, because he didn't have to do that. It was really nice. But the Mick Foley that we see today, while he probably cares and strives to give fans the greatest autograph you can get, as far as proper color, proper placement, creativity, ingenuity, as far as to the three faces to make them all different, he is an artist with what he does. He truly is. But he is not someone that is putting sort of the needs or well-being or the savings of fans above anything for himself. He is about his business. He is about his money. I've witnessed him behind closed doors arguing for extra premium pricing on pricing that's already established, about how, this should be more next time because it's too nice. I was in the room. I heard things like that said. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. That's not even a salacious allegation. He should do that. He's in business. That's what you're doing. You're trying to make money. He's not anyone's friend. He's there to make money. But I take that statement from no more upcharges. It has nothing to do with tough times. It has nothing to do with anything. I suspect his cash box has been getting a little lighter at these shows, because he was getting a little crazy, I think, with some of the upcharges. And I think, after a while, you do 50,000 cons every weekend, you're making less. So I think he's reached a point of that cycle where he's trying to charge a little bit less to make a little bit more. So I don't think at all is he being generous or kind or any of that. I just think he's a smart man trying to figure out how to increase his sales.
Right, and you also you get it's a great little baby face promo to say, I want to help you guys out.
And cheap pop, if you will.
Yeah, not charge upcharge, because everyone knows upcharging is very unpopular. I shouldn't say there are a handful of people who argue in favor of upcharging because they're just weird. I don't know, but it's pretty uniformly unpopular, and so coming out against it now, I mean, is certainly a way to get people to I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how much revenue this is going to generate, truthfully. But I guess you got to do what you can. It's getting more competitive in this con world.
Yeah, I mean, well played, Mick. Again, I don't want anyone to think I'm bashing Mick. I really do think he gives a great product. And I think what I'm saying about him is just, if anything, a compliment. He's an intelligent, business savvy guy. I just think this is definitely a babyface, cheap pop promo, not necessarily a guy trying to look out for the fans' wallets. But, I don't blame him.
There you go. And then you found this and posted it, so why don't you talk about it? The McCartney book.
Yes, one book I did not find on Black Friday. And even if I had, I would have left it right where it was. Paul McCartney has signed books coming out, and their MSRP is going to be $7,500, which, as we talked about last week with John Cena as a wrestling photo op that was approaching $500, now you have a signed book that is approaching $8,000. And signed books have notoriously been a way to sort of get, I would say, an authentic autograph, but as we've seen, that's not always the case. It should be the case, but it's a good way to get a mostly authentic autograph for cheap. I bought Matthew McConaughey for $29. I would not get Matthew McConaughey anywhere reputable for anything less than $150, $175. That's what a book has always been. I bought the Arnolds for like $30 each. You can buy them on eBay now for $100. Arnold is not a $100 autograph. But now you have Paul McCartney, who's trying to, maybe not him in particular, maybe it's the whatever, his team, but they're pricing a signed book as if it's a full price piece of memorabilia. That's
well, I think, to be fair, this is for charity, though.
Yeah, okay. I guess that makes it a little bit better. But perhaps if this works out, or just the fact that this ripple on the ocean surface of this hobby has happened, maybe the next time a name like Arnold decides to do a book, maybe signed copies become behind some charity gate, and they sign a hell of a lot less and charge a hell of a lot more. There could be ramifications from this on future book tours and other book releases. Will it happen like that? Probably not, but be aware, stay tuned. It's definitely a big price jump from what we've seen prior on books.
Yeah, and I mean, even there've been a couple of book controversies with the signed book. I mean, there was that very, very, very expensive Bob Dylan book that they were over $1,000, and they were all auto pens anyway. So
yeah, the Obama Springsteen. What the hell did I drop on that? Was that 5?
Yeah, 500.
Yeah, I got that sitting here. But yeah, I mean, you're talking $500 for a president and a music icon versus $7,500. If this is a thing, how much would the next Obama Springsteen type book be? Would it be $500? Granted, that wasn't for charity, but still, I don't know.
It's a fair point. It is a fair point. So we did have Wicked Ink Wednesday again this week. Couple of super cool items here. My favorite was the Captain Kangaroo, with his Chris Farley signed report card. I love the story. I love the item. There's very few things in this hobby that are cooler than something like that, where your mother is out and she sees Chris Farley and the only thing she has in her purse is your report card. You're giddy and excited. Next thing you know, Chris Farley is signing your report card. I went crazy seeing this item.
It's one of the coolest things I've seen. It really, really, really is. Honestly, I think it's cooler than if his mom had like a Tommy Boy full-size poster in her bag.
Infinitely cooler.
It's so just one of one, and Farley killed the inscription, and it's absolutely perfect. I think it's one of those things where I think the hobby has sort of moved past that. Like right now, if this happened today and Chris Farley was Adam Sandler, that would have been a selfie, and it wouldn't have just been a selfie. It would have been a selfie with 15 other tourists running up on him, and it would have been that. It would not have been this little weird moment that only Captain has, and it just wouldn't have happened. No one would have been digging through the purse for something to sign. It would have been a rush selfie, nothing more. And this is a lot cooler. And yeah, really awesome.
What else do we have for Wicked Ink Wednesday? I love the Chris Giles Muda Steamboat print. I just really enjoyed that. That was fun. It was a nice throwback for me to the WCW. And then Vinny posted his taxi print because he just finished. I'm drawing a blank. Who was the last person he got on there?
DeVito,
right? Because he had gotten Tony Danza and then DeVito on there. So awesome. I love that as well.
Now he just has to wait for Andy Kaufman to come back from hiding.
I know. That's sad. And then a photo with Friday, 16 times Mark Miller continues to dust off these photos from decades ago. He posted them with Willard Scott. That was just phenomenal, just truly awesome. I thought this was super cool, and I don't know why I didn't get this, by the way. Did you see that Jan posted from Chiller 2012, that Boondock Saints gimmick photo with the two of them pointing the guns at the camera?
Yeah, I didn't get it. That's the show I got the table op with Ritas, which saying table op with Ritas now is like crazy. But yes, that was one of his last shows. He did table ops. I don't know why I didn't do this. Granted, I'm not a huge Boondocks fan. I watched it once. It was okay. But I mean, the guns and everything else, it's awesome. I absolutely regret not getting it.
Yeah, it was, what a great shot. I don't ever recall seeing that before. I wish I had gotten it. Super cool. And what's his face doesn't do as many cons anymore. I mean, obviously Norman does fewer cons, but also the other one. What the hell is his name?
Sean Patrick Flannery.
He doesn't do the same number of cons. They used to do cons together regularly. So
I guess that's why he realizes his gait is not going to be very great without him, and he's just not going to bother.
Fair. And then Rob Hockman, he posted that shot with Brock Lesnar. Phenomenal. Not many people have a Brock Lesnar shot. To have one that's that good is awesome.
Yeah, legendary shot for sure.
And then not too much other con news going on. There's some weird shenanigans with Steel City and Kate Jackson from Charlie's Angels, where they claimed she canceled, then she publicly said she didn't cancel. Then the show promoter tried to reach back out and try to do damage control to figure out what the hell happened. So I looked into this. Last I see, they reached out to her agent a couple days ago to try and re-invite her and say she's still welcome, and she is not responding to them.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. I know Kate Jackson's kind of weird. She's still masked up and witness protection when she's at these appearances, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But at the same time, if you're this susceptible to germs or afraid of germs or whatever it is, you probably shouldn't be doing appearances. That's always my outlook at this point. If you're 2025, if you're still masked and plexiglassed and all this stuff, you probably should just find another way of making money. You could sign stuff on a website. You can do a lot of things. So I don't know what to make of her. She's kind of kooky, to say the least. But it's a weird story. It's strange. And I'm waiting to see what happens. And also, unless I spaced out when you were reading this, I don't think you covered the fact that Parker Posey dropped out.
No, I was at the second half. I didn't say it yet.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yes, Parker Posey, has she made a con date yet?
Listen, I can't wait for the con that Parker Posey and Freddie Prinze both make. I don't think she has. There was some weirdo that tried to blame it on chronic Lyme disease as to why she misses all these appearances. And Steel City just responded with, that's not the reason she missed this one. And the whole thing is insane. It really is.
Don't take the booking if you don't want to go. It's very simple. Very simple. And finally, Chill Out has announced its dates for 2026, April 2nd through 4th. No guests yet.
Yeah, and April 2nd through 4th, which is a little surprising. That is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That, you don't see very many Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows. I'm not really sure why there's a Thursday.
Is it possible that's a typo?
Someone asked if they were sure those were the dates, and I didn't see them correct the dates.
I saw the graphic. The graphic is still the graphic.
Yeah, so that was days ago. Someone said, "Are you sure that's the date?" April 2 through 4. This is the graphics. I am going to assume that's the schedule. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday is looking like chill out. Do we have a date for chiller yet for April, or is that always the same weekend?
Let's see.
I looked the other day. I wasn't able to find a chiller date.
Chiller Theater. I don't see anything handy.
I didn't see it on the Facebook page either.
No, they don't have it public. So if it could have been somewhere that I don't see.
Yes, I don't know if that's the same weekend as Chiller. I'm not positive. Stay tuned. I feel like Greg 2600 probably has the date, and he will comment it on the show graphic like he tends to do. But I don't see it on Twitter. I don't see it anywhere. So I don't think the Chiller April date is out there yet. So I guess stay tuned if there's another Turnpike War, or if it's just separate weekends and each show sort of doing its own thing, independent of the other.
There you go. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and/or review. You can leave a rating or review or both on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating on Spotify, or you can leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment on YouTube. All engagement is highly encouraged. We do have a bunch of listener questions, and I think we're going to focus on one for this episode because I guess there's a lot to talk about. So this is from. Was this from the email? Because I didn't see this quite, or was it from one of your posts?
I believe we've had this one in the can now for a couple of weeks. I think I'm trying to remember. I think it was an email.
You forgot.
Yeah, I think it was an email though. I definitely forgot, but I think it was an email because I haven't made one of these posts in weeks.
Yeah, you made one this week, and we have a whole little stockpile of questions here. So in any case, this is from Bill. His question is, while collecting, have you ever seen something you'd love to own, but there's something you would do differently to fit your own tastes? So, I mean, this happens to me literally all the time because my tastes are strange and highly specific, and that's the story of my existence in this hobby. So, but I mean, can you relate to this question?
I can. I'm going to ask you to go first because I'm still sort of chewing on exactly which way I want to take this question as far as my answer.
Well, there's a couple of things, right? So, because we discussed this a little bit when you got your WrestleMania 3 Pontiac Silverdome Hulk Hogan signed chair, the seat back for, and conceptually, I would love to own such a thing. And when I see it, I conceptually want it. But then when it comes down to like the practical ownership of it, I just sort of balk because what the hell do you do with it? It just doesn't, you can't do anything with it. It just sort of has to be stored away. And so like, I have items like this, I have a couple of jackets. So I have this wonderful jacket where it's the WrestleMania 14 crew jacket. And it's signed by Austin, Shawn, and Mike Tyson. And it's beautiful. But what am I going to do with it? Because it's big. I have to get this big-ass frame just for the jacket. And where does that go? Like, where does it go? I'm going to put it in my living room, like this big framed jacket. Like, it's weird. And so, part of my struggle in this hobby is finding a way to make sense of what I've got and do something with it that is going to be something that I'm going to actually enjoy. And then, we haven't talked about this ever, but for the first, I would say 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, what year did I started in 2007. I would say up until about 2015 or 2016, so almost 9 years, everything I got was personalized. And so I have these beautiful full-size movie posters from all kinds of, like my Terminator 2 movie poster is personalized by everybody. My Nightmare on Elm Street, all that stuff is personalized. Like now, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have got them personalized. But here we are, and so
I can't stand the. I don't want to hijack your answer here, but I actually I'm going to hold this. I'm going to hold this in. Keep going. Sorry.
What are you saying? What? Go ahead.
I was going to hold it for my own answer, but I can't stand the multi-personalized pieces. How many times do you need two Scott on this damn piece? It's to me an eyesore. If you have one person do like the personalization for all, I could understand it. But I mean, you have 47 times your name is on there. It's I don't know.
Yeah, I so that's something that is bothersome to me. I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff. I can't sell it really. It's I have those posters out in stored away. I'm not sure what to do with them. But yes, I experience a lot of that. I also have seen. I love like statues and memorabilia and musical instruments. I love that stuff. But I'm not going to pretend like again. I'm not a curator of a museum where I would put this thing up somewhere. Or even like my ring worn Hulk Hogan wristband. What am I going to do with it? So I have these things, and I admire these things from afar that I in theory would want, but in practice I just don't know how I would do it. And that's even true like for the full size movie posters. I love a full size movie poster. I love the way they look. I love the art. I love the whole they look different than the reproductions. And yet, realistically, how many can you own? How many can you display? How many can you take around as projects? And so I found myself, I had pivoted to Funko Pops for a long time, and now I'm sort of pivoting away from that. Actually, we talked about that, last week, where we're not really sure about the future of the Funko Pop, and I'm not even really, I haven't bought one in a very long time, and when I still see them, when I see people getting them signed, I admire them. But now I'm not quite sure exactly. Honestly, I haven't bought an autograph in a minute, and I'm not sure what I want to collect autograph wise at this point.
Yeah, that's always my my struggle lately. Like I didn't get the Funko Pop signed by the Nun, and then I like almost immediately regretted it. I came close to buying one after the fact. I don't even think you know this. And I didn't. And like I like them, I want to collect them, but I'm also afraid of the future of that market. And I don't. I went deep as a child, which means my family went deep on my behalf in Beanie Babies. We all thought the Beanie Baby thing was gonna be some sort of a sustainable collectible, and it wasn't. And I have in the attic like duffel bags of Beanie Babies.
Well, you haven't thrown them away yet?
No, fun fact, I still have them. I think I will be very soon. But I have like Pablo Escobar, like duffel bags is filled with Beanie Babies. And I'm hypersensitive of sort of making that mistake twice. But I do, they're nice, they're uniformed, they're signable, they're easy to protect, the cases are cheap and easy to come by. I love them in a lot of ways, I really do. But I don't know what to do with them. But to answer this question, because like the thing, like I already kind of poked at the personalization thing. I always kind of cringe when I see the personalizations on items. If it's a single sign, you get it personalized, whatever. But the project pieces personalized, not a fan. That's one that I will see people do, and that I would totally do differently. The other thing, and please don't anyone think I'm like taking shots at anyone with this. I'm not at all. The same way people, mostly you, were able to sort of laugh, and Zach, at my ridiculous Reagan doll. I always see Vinny when he posts his like multi-sign stuff. For me, it kind of bugs me to like I would not be able to do multi-signed in 8x10. And I've brought this up to him in person, and he explained it as if he was ever going to hang this stuff, it's more practical for it to be 8x10. And I agree completely. I really do. He's absolutely right. It is the rational decision. It is the pragmatic decision. It actually makes displaying it feasible in some scenario. But I just couldn't for whatever reason. I would have to do 11x17, 11x14. something larger. And if he was going to gift me his collection, I would be so much happier if I could just expand them all to 11 by 14. But, I don't think he's gifting me his collection, and I damn sure know you can't just change the size of something. So that would never happen, but that's something for me. Multi-signed, for the most part, must be oversized. That is a rule for me, and yeah, that kind of bugs me.
I kind of agree with that. I don't love 8x10s generally. I have very few 8x10s, and even fewer that I actually enjoy. I do have the multi-signed 8x10 of White Collar, but that was all we got. And I printed that at home when we went to the set that time.
Yeah.
I have my 8x10 of Jane Fonda, which I just love, but that was that's a very specific niche sort of piece. I just don't have that many 8x10s. It's just a rule.
8x10s. I have a lot because I have a lot of everything. That is not a flex. That is the person with
it's a lamentation, right?
Yeah. That is just me being real with myself. I have a lot of everything. So in theory, I respect the original promos. I really do. Much like the original movie posters, there's something cool about the way that the cardstock feels in your hand. Like if you shake it a little bit, you hear like that little sound. Anyone that's held a promo, you know what I mean.
What are your thoughts on lobby cards? I love lobby cards. Oh man, look, I got all that whole set of Romeo and Juliet lobby cards by Olivia and Leonard.
I'll be honest, I'm not super crazy about lobby cards. Promos I kind of would like to collect more so than I do, but then I feel like they're easy to replicate. I'm not an expert where I would really trust my eye in identifying them. And then if you're a true promo collector, you end up wanting to spend $1,000 on the WWF Blimp promo, which is just completely deranged behavior. No judgment, because I make my own deranged behavior, but I don't have room for any more. Lobby cards, I don't know why I don't have any real feeling for lobby cards. My Stallone autograph that I have, I bought a signed, it was during COVID. It was Beckett certified. It's a press kit from the movie. The hell's the name of the movie now?
Daylight,
yeah, the Stallone movie with the Manhattan Tunnel with a terrorist attack.
Horrible.
I love that movie. It's awesome. It's fun. And it's Sly and his late son Sage, and they both signed this press kit. It's which is essentially a folder, and they signed the folder. To me, it's really cool. And inside it are a stack of the lobby cards or whatever. And I've never, granted, to have one signed would be $500 a pop. So that's probably why I don't have a temptation. But I've never felt the temptation to get any of them signed. I just have them sitting in the press kit. I looked at them once, and that was the end of it.
So it's really about the size of the piece for you. That's kind of your thing. I kind of agree. I like the larger items, and one of the things that you were making fun of me for also is whenever we have our guests at cons and stuff, I don't just want my souvenir from that event to be an 8x10. I always want a 16x20.
I curse you every time I have to deal with those 16x20s. I gotta make sure I don't bend it. I gotta handle it with such care. I do 11x14. They fit in my little sleeve. It's beautiful. Your 16x20s are insane, but they look also insane. They're awesome. Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that though. That's my feeling, like you said, with the full size movie posters. When we did Chevy in Pittsburgh, I spent a lot of money. I spent more than I should have just obtaining the original movie posters of the National Lampoon Vacation movies. I have Christmas. I have Euro. I think I have 3 of the 4, perhaps. I don't think I got. There was one, the Vegas one I didn't get, but the 3 original ones I got, and they're dual signed by Chase and D'Angelo. And I've thought to myself now, I should have probably done 11x17. I would have saved probably $1,000, and I could maybe have a feasible opportunity to hang them. Maybe I would hang one. Christmas Vacation is the greatest Christmas movie ever made to me. It is. Home Alone is a close second, but this is my number one. So I would love to have that up.
That's a hot take.
I'm never going to hang all three. Never going to hang all three. May never hang any. And then, so I don't know what the hell I was doing with that. I absolutely admire and love full size. And I part of me wishes every 11 by 17 was a full size original. And at the exact same token, that's the opposite part of me wishes every full size I had was 11 by 17. Because I know that's just more rational and able to sort of be worked with. So yeah, I don't know if I answered this question to Bill's desire, because it's such a great question. You could sort of look at it a million different ways. But yeah, and Vinny, absolutely no shade. I do think you made a mistake. I think the shirtless shortstop photo should have been 16 by 20, and that should 100%. Go that should go over your mantle, so all of your relatives and friends can see it and bask on Ray Ordonez's nipples. But in general, I mean, you have a sick collection, and I know you're not sensitive like that, but don't think I was throwing any shade. You have an awesome collection. I would just have them a lot more undisplayable than you do.
And so it goes. So what's coming up for us? So we both decided, I think collectively, and then after checking out the weather forecasts for this week, we're both secure in our decision to pass on Steel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything. Luckily, I have most everything. I would like that Full House up, but I think Lori is going to go on a run. She's going to do a Rhode Island. Probably this year. She's going to, next year. She's going to do 90s Con. If I really want that op, I'll have a better opportunity. And Shia LaBeouf, I can just buy autographs. I don't have to go and get them done. It doesn't matter. So, yeah. And the weather forecast, which is filled with snow, I'm not sure how much. I really didn't look that closely. Because to be completely honest, I kind of want to imagine it's a blizzard. So I have zero FOMO of not going. If it's a dusting, I could say, oh, shucks, we still could have made it. But I'm at peace being done con-wise for the rest of the year.
Kind of nuts. I mean, at this rate, I believe we don't have a con or anything until March. And even March for me is tricky.
I have a bunch of baseball signings and stuff like that. But, no cons right now until spring.
It's kind of wild. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. And so right now we have no public signings, but we do have, though, we're a bunch of steals and deals on Facebook. A whole bunch of sales going on.
Listen, I packed everything this morning. It took me a decent amount of time. There were a lot of orders. And in the time from late afternoon until recording this podcast, I have a whole new pile of stuff. And I pride myself on my quick shipping. But listen, I've already missed half of the Knicks game. I haven't had dinner. This is all getting packed up tomorrow. Tracking will go out tomorrow. And this will all be in the mail on Tuesday because I don't have another round of packing in me tonight. But the steals and deals are coming. Our eBay is the place to sort of find the stock. But as always, if you hit us up on DM, there's better deals we can do when we're talking friends and family and Cash App and all those nice fee-free methods of transaction.
So it's important. If you see something on eBay and when you know us and you want to make an offer off, just through Facebook or whatever, or via email, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you hear us talking about an item, you want to make an offer, you don't see it listed somewhere, or if we have a especially on the WWE ID talent, we have lots of bulk, we have a lot of stock, and so if you're interested in bulk purchasing some of that stuff, throw us a number and we'll talk. We have a lot of stuff available.
And let me just do a quick tease. For NXT, we talked a lot about Jackson. We talked a lot about Brad and Ricky, which, we kind of tend to do that on this show a bit. I think you've heard those names, 2 or 3 million times. But Jackson was not in the ring working with a mop or a broom or anything like that. He was in the ring with Sean Legacy, who brought it just as much as Jackson did, just about. I mean, they killed it. Both of them killed it. And we got a nice package from Mr. Legacy in the mail. It's sort of not to go too deep, but we had him booked for WrestleCon, and he had commitments he couldn't that he had to miss the appearance. And we got some stuff back from him that we had waiting from the WrestleCon booking. So we have some brand new Sean Legacy prints. And if you have already bought in on Jackson and you have your pieces, which our Jacksons are starting to fly a little bit, you also want Legacy. Our 3 guys that we bring all over the place are probably 1, 2, and 3 on that like hierarchy. But I think you would agree Legacy is next. Like Legacy is a guy you want stock on.
Easy, no brainer. Obviously, yes.
So this week I'm going to drop the brand new stuff we have from Legacy, and we have some fire from the last time still left over. So we have some stock on Sean Legacy. The Dr. Thirst Jackson Drake prints are flying. They are really flying. I mean, I guess the thirst trap is money. So if you want to see, Jackson Drake's, I don't even know what, his Jackson Drake. I mean, we got them, and I don't think anyone else has them, unless, no one else does right now. Actually, no one else has Jackson Drake, period. So of course,
right. No one else has Jackson Drake. Come on.
Yeah. So get those prints. The thirst traps are flying extra quick. So if you want a thirst trap, come get it.
So I think that's it for us. I think we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Awesome. Great. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week.